Hi.
Good evening.
Next week, Sunday, Mr. Shem, I'm in Atlanta.
Sorry, what?
Next week, Sunday, Mr. Shem, I am in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. Shut over.
Thank you. I will try to photocopy the next page and see if I can bring it with me. Otherwise, we'll just have to skip.
Okay. Whatever works. Okay, what page are we on now?
I have us on page 109.
09? Okay. So
You want to record?
I'm recording. I did we mention about the Haftarah Parshas Kedoshim? I don't think we mentioned it. Did we?
About what?
Haftarah Parshas Kedoshim, last week's Haftarah?
There are multiple, the Rav here sent out a note, which I kind of skimmed. There are multiple minhags in a game.
Right, but the point is that
is to read Kedoshim, the Haftarah for Kedoshim 2 weeks in a row, which is what we did.
Oh, well, those of us who did not follow that minhag read after, which was last read 27 years ago and will next be read 20 years from now, which is after which the Gemara says we don't like leaning explicitly because it talks about Tavot Yerushalayim. There are also two versions of Haftarah, one for Rehab and one that Chabad inspired have, but they're both different Prakim Yecheskel, which talk about Tavot Yerushalayim. And the point of it is that point I'm making with it is that it's the 19-year cycle is not, and we really have not gotten to this point in our conversations yet. The 19-year cycle is not really a 19-year perfect cycle. Otherwise, this will repeat itself every 19 years, but it doesn't. It's a much larger cycle. So because there's a lot to do with the convergence of Achnei Mos Kedoshim, whether they come together, they come separately, whether they are part of a the way those Shabbosos come out on special Shabbosos like Pesach or something else when we lay something else all together. So the 9-year cycle is good for birthdays, but not much more than that. And therefore, there's really the official cycle, which we'll get to, I think, eventually, is really a 247-year cycle, a much larger cycle.
Right.
So that's why it's possible to have this phenomenon, which you have after, which is read like, I think, like in the 247-year cycle, I think it's read like 15 times, something like that. Some extremely rare number. Okay. And Nofi alone, they missed out. What can I tell you? Okay.
I don't know. There are times when if I try to read Hebrew, it just kind of blurs. And so it just doesn't click. And that, unfortunately, what the Rav wrote, just that happened to me. So it's just, okay, that's what he said, fine.
But anyway, you didn't read that Torah, right? You read the same one 2 weeks in a row, so.
Right, but it just strikes me as funny that Achrei Mot was its own parsha, nothing going on, and we didn't read the Torah for Achrei Mot. We read the Torah for Kedoshim. And then reading the Torah for Kedoshim, okay, that makes sense. But reading the Torah for Kedoshim on Achrei Mot when it's not a double parsha, I don't know. It made sense to the Rav. He said he thought that for whatever reason, but I don't remember what it was.
Okay. In any event, so that was an interesting phenomenon which we had recently. And again, so hopefully at some point we'll discuss the larger cycle issue. Okay, in the meantime.
I hope we're both around in 20 years to remark on it again.
Yes. So we're up to page 109. As you said, Shabbat, Shabbos is the set hinge, the permanent hinge of the yearly calendar.
Or else the axis, maybe he means.
Axis, sorry, yes. I think we can skip the top part of this page. Let's go to the bottom. Because that part basically is, I'll read the titles. Based in does the months and the Yom Tovim, Shabbos Hashem does, HaShabbat Me'al Yisrael, Shabbat Kodem Yisrael, that's what we say, Mekadesh HaShabbos, Mekadesh Yisrael V'Azmanim, and let's come together saying Mekadesh HaShabbos V'Yisrael V'Azmanim. Shabbos is Kodesh, Shabbos HaMalcha, Shabbos Menucha, Kedusha is Mitzvah Sheva, 7 is a holy number. The Me'ashvalim Shabbos, we already said this, that we count, there are no names for our days of the week, only Rishon Shabbos, etc. Shabbos sometimes is used, remove on Shavua to mean a week, and Shabbos Merkaz Me'ashvua, in the sense that the 3 days before Shabbos are considered before Shabbos, and 3 days after Shabbos considered after Shabbos. Therefore, parameters such as when you're allowed to set sail on a ship, preferably more than 3 days before Shabbos, to when you're allowed to make Abdullah, to 3 days after Shabbos, etc., etc. Okay, now the next part is at the bottom of the page. You have Shivat Yimei HaShavua Keneged Shivat Kochavei HaLechet. The 7 days a week correspond to the 7 planets, which of course are not our planets today, as we will see momentarily. So the 12 months correspond to the 12 constellations, which he hasn't gotten yet. That's on page 126. Corresponding to 7 days a week, you have 7 planets. Hashemesh, the sun, Hayarech, the moon, Kochav, which is Mercury, Noga, which is Venus, Maadim, which is Mars, Tzedek, which is Jupiter, Shabtai, which is Saturn. Today we know that the sun is not a planet. And all of their understanding of the planets has been disproven. It's been has tottered, literally. Now, but this has become imprinted on society throughout the world. Yom Rishon, Shemesh, Sunday. Yom Shani, Lebanon, Monday. Yom Shishi, Maadim. I don't know, Tuesday, I think is Thor Day. I think our names go by Norse mythology.
Don't know.
What?
I really don't know.
Don't know. Yom Revi is Kochav, that's Mercury. Yom Chamishi is Tzedek, that's Jupiter. Yom Shishi is Noga, that's Venus. And Yom Shabbat, that's Saturday, Saturn. Hayadut lo kibblat Hashem kochavim b'Yeshua im mishum shebiksu litrachei kam b'shemesh avodat kochavim. Either we didn't accept it because we wanted to distance ourselves from even a smidgen of avodah zarah. Shavot kochavim mazal im mishum shortzu lavlit et chashivut yom Shabbat shekol yom Yeshua nimnim al leifim, or because we wanted to emphasize and highlight the significance of Shabbos. Kol b'nei ben b'zan tamudi tuafafa avodat kochavim. At the time of the Talmud, avodah zarah was on the down. The downwards trend. We Chazal to tell us about the destruction of the Torah avodah zarah and Sechus Yuma, and there's no place I have to remember the other places. And the popular belief in kochavim mazalot expanded. I would not put it that way because Chazal give it credence, as they say, somebody who's born in the mazal of Maadim will either be a murderer or will be a moel. So there are Chazal give credence to this, to the power of the planets and influence on human beings' personality. People like myself are born on Wednesday, are supposed to be particularly smart, and so on and so forth. So I'm not saying I prove it, but anyway, there is the Gemara in Shabbos.
So smart. Why are you learning with me and not with somebody better?
Well, I know you're born on Wednesday too. So the Gemara Shabbos does speak about it, and the Talmud Medubar mazal yom mazal sha'at the kaman, and this is a very fascinating thing which actually does come up. Shivat Kochavim are chanchal shatzam, kaman noga kochav levana shabtai tzedek madim. And each one has an hour. Each hour is the hour of a certain star. I think Yom Revi we start from Wednesday, in which day the for the luminaries are put in the firmament. In every weekly cycle, there are 168 shaot. The shemesh kol kochav esim b'arba shaot. So 7 times 24, each gets 24 hours. V'zeu seder, and this is the order. So hatavla ruchal fi hasber shel Rashi zam seven brachot nutet beit. V'shar rishona shel leil revi'i at the first hour of Wednesday night. V'shalei shabtai. Saturn is in effect. So that's the in the column. He has that on Wednesday, right? Shatzam Kal is the order in order beginning from Wednesday evening. B'shar Shniat Tzedek, b'shar Shishit Madim. So it's not clear why that order. Saturn, Jupiter, Mars is going in reverse order from the edge of the known solar system at that point, right? But then we switch to Chama, Noga, Kochav, Levana, which is the sun, and then Venus, and then the Mercury and the moon. It could be that has to do with the distance from Earth. I'm not 100% sure, really. Could be that once not even 0% sure, I should say. But it could be that the distance from Earth relatively is Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and then the Sun, and so on and so forth. And I don't know. Actually, that can't be. I'm thinking about it now. I say it aloud because Noga is Venus, and that's closer. It's further. It's closer in than Kochav. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not sure how they came.
No, Kochav is Mercury.
Yeah.
Mercury is the one closest to the sun.
Right. So, after Chamar should come Kochav.
Oh, you're right.
Right. Okay. So in any event, so each day a different star starts the day. Okay. So the Shabbos at the way the Umos Olam do it, right? The way it makes the world. So if you look at the 6th hour, right? 6 hours of the day, which is actually midnight, right? 6 hours after sunset, right? So then on Saturday it is Shabtai, right? I'm reading from the bottom of the table. On Sunday it is Chama, Sunday. On Monday it's Lamed, Levana, right? On Tuesday it's Ma'adim. So I always said corresponds to Tuesday. Chaf Tzadi Nun. So that's how the nations of the world determine the dates of the week. I'm not sure if he actually doesn't seem to say that, but that is in fact the way it's determined. What?
Yeah, that does seem to work.
Yeah. So and Chazal say, depending which hour of the day you're born, on which day you're born, that determines your personality. So that is actually taken into account.
Well, I can go check I can look at the birth certificate.
Right. Now, there was, when we were kids, there was a popular nonsense called biorhythms. And that was all based on your rhythm since the time you were born. And this astrology. Okay. So that's about all he gives us on this, which is, I think, insufficient.
Yeah, L'may nafkamina.
What?
L'may nafkamina. I'm
telling you, Nafkina's Chazal, according to Pina's Chazal, which believe in horoscopes, which seem to be a significant and dominant opinion. So they will make a difference. Give me a second. 1 second. I want to pause this a second. I'm going to look at, see if I can find where Rabbi Kaplan writes about it. I'll quote it. 1 second. I'm reading a page from Immortality, Resurrection, Age of the Universe by Rabbi R.A. Kaplan. In Jerusalem, there's a Sephardic sage by the name of Chacham Shabtai. He's a great Torah scholar who has the Talmud and codes at his fingertips. It would be a typical Jewish scholar except for one thing. Chacham Shabtai has the most unusual avocation. He casts horoscopes. The Chacham will cast a horoscope for you whether he has met you or not. Give him a birthday, and for the precise hour can be provided, the horoscope will be much more precise. And then ask for your complete Hebrew name. Given this information on A1, he'll provide an uncanny analysis of the person's character and personality. Let me give you one example that was once brought to my attention. Chacham Shabtai once cast a horoscope for an individual who was a noted philanthropist, renowned for large sums he gave to charity. After casting the horoscope, the Chacham told him his personality contained two conflicting traits. One trait indicated he was very generous, and the other showed him to be very stingy. Chacham Shabtai told the man that even though he gave much charity, there was a constant battle whenever he did so. The philanthropist admitted that the Chacham's analysis was correct, adding that no one else had ever detected the conflict. So he says that I'm skipping around here, but so Chacham Shabtai will use astrology to analyze a person's an individual's personality, even to help him solve his problems. But because the commandment, you shall be perfect with your Lord your God, he will not use it to predict the future. Just in passing, though, it is interesting to note that Chacham Shabtai is also in the commentary in the Torah. In this book, he shows many passages where the Torah has been interpreted in the light of astrological knowledge. And then he goes on to say that it goes at some length to describe how there is this significant strain of opinion in Chazal that does accept astrology as being factual. Now, when you say Ein Mazal Yisrael,
Yeah.
for Klal Yisrael, it doesn't mean for individuals.
It doesn't apply to individuals?
It could, but according to most interpretations, it does not. Most interpretations, Ein Mazal Yisrael means that Jews as a nation have no mazal. Not that, and that when like Paro saw that the Jews are going to be have this bloodbath in the desert, Ein Mazal Yisrael means Am Yisrael as a nation doesn't have a mazal. There won't be a bloodbath. There's actually that meal or whatever. But the point is that Ein Mazal Yisrael does not necessarily mean individual Jews. Yes, again, there are people who interpret it that way, but that's not the only exclusive interpretation. So this astrology does have a school of thought in Judaism. Now the Rambam would hold thing, everything is bunk. I'm gonna say would say it's all hogwash. In fact, Yisrael and Kiddushin says it's all hogwash, and many people will say it's all hogwash. But on the other hand, as he points out here, with many Marei Makomot, there is such a concept in Judaism.
All right. Now, what was the name of that book? Because offline, I want you to send me the name of that book, because it looks like
Great book, Immortality, Resurrection, and the Age of the Universe.
I've never heard of it.
No, it's a fantastic book. Might be easier for you to order to Atlanta than it is to Israel. So if you're going to be here next week.
Yeah, but I need to know where to order it from.
Amazon. I'll send you a link.
Okay.
I don't know if he speaks about astrology anywhere else in this book. It's not really his thing, obviously. Let's see if he has anything in the index about it. Page 126. That's what he has on page 126. Ooh, there's a lot here. So maybe we should do this next. This ties in.
Over to 126.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Although here's tell you more about the constellations.
All right, I don't have a problem as long as we come back and do the other things.
No, I don't have a problem either. I just so, but I like to point out. Let's at least look right now at the column on the right hand. Emunah mamit ba mazalot. Popular belief in mazal. B'tim rabim shkurim b'pinu. There are many phrases which we're accustomed to say. Many popular beliefs the author of this book is obviously not happy with this. First of all, mazal tov. Neino mishtamesh b'ayom b'bracha zu l'regel irom esameh b'chayei mishpacha, moledah b'chatuna v'chulei. It says, who doesn't use this popular phrase for any happy occasion? Manu ma'achlim b'vrachazu. What are we blessed with this blessing? Shamoram samech yeh b'siman shel kochav tov. It should be in with a good star. Because the ancients believe we don't have control over our destiny. Everything was decreed upon us ahead of time, based on the star, which was dominant from what you just learned today, a time of birth or the event. So those who oppose the idea of astrology, such as the Pharisees, explain that the word mazal comes from flow, and flow like a nozel. And we say mazal tov, we say the flow which you're experiencing now, which is clearly a positive flow, should continue, right? So that would be severing the concept of mazal tov from the concept of mazalos. B'sha'ah tova, and between that, novea. Oh, I skipped the line. Sorry, I skipped part. Bar mazal, anu mechanim adam matzliach. Say a person's a bar mazal if he's a successful person. That his success comes from his good start. Means that he has an unhappy start. We went through the hour. When the activity begins. So, for example, there is a popular belief that we shouldn't begin I think I thought Madim was Tuesday. But all right, maybe I could be wrong. You shouldn't begin an activity on Wednesday when Madim is in charge. Mazal levana, ein melacha nigmeret, bo. I don't know what that means. If you finish it that day, it's okay. I don't know. Zayish's ben Osab, Yoshi Lone Amar Maser Beshit Abriya Kitov. It'll be at the Meir Briya. Another explanation, which is that it doesn't say Kitov on Monday, only on Tuesday. If he has Besh, maybe Mordechai Yofe, Bala Vushim, the Rabbi Mordechai Yofe, the Vush. I mean, how do you tell Yom Tirat Torim? The minute people have to fast on Direction Mishum Shel Toyom, Ruah Mazalo Shalabens, the mazal, the child is teetering. PM is Ber Mekubal, so Rebbe Tshuva. The customary interpretation is different. There was commotion of the bar. Shimush b'demat be'ot lashon k'mo mazal to bar mazal chadoma. And no me'it tamid shom mishtamesh v'ma'amin v'mazal. Doesn't mean if you use them, they believe in mazal. Matbe'ot lashon elohem hochacha l'munatam ha'chazaka shabbatenu b'kocham hashbatam shel mazalot. But the use of these formulae indicate the strong belief in the power influence of mazalos. Even intelligent people today accept this thing. Torah horoscope, and that's where the horoscopes are which are publicized regularly every week, in distinguished and serious newspapers. Okay. So let's go to the flip side here. Do you still have a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not myself bein Yudim. Lo yisrael bein b'yimei b'nayim. Rav Sadigon, b'Pirusha Sevitzir, Shmuel Ibn Gabiro, b'Kesem Malchus, Chen Rav Ram Bar Chia Nasi, Rav Ibn Ezra, Chashvu Itztagnut L'Luman Mitit. They thought of astrology as a true wisdom and discipline. The Ibn Ezra used astrology a lot in this Spanish Chumash. Rabbi Levi in the Kuzari also concedes that heavenly constellations and their various different combinations have an influence on physical matters in this world. He doesn't believe that the astrologers can determine accurately the manner in which these things act on the creatures. And those things which are in our world. The Rambam negated altogether astrology. He regards it as a false imagination, not at all worthy of name Chokhmah. He rejected the perceptions of several of the Chachmei Talmud. Who were inclined to believe in the Bar Mazals. He said that those astrologers who give counsel violate the prohibition of not being a sorcerer. Ram was so the philosopher of the Middle Ages was against astrology and belief in the decrees of stars. It's not true, of course. If the Rambam says it, the odds are that. Who else says it?
Well,
The Meiri.
okay.
The Meiri himself goes so far as to say that the Chazal didn't believe in all of any of those things, like the Zugos, doing things in pairs and such like. But the Hamon Am was so shakua in this belief they had to play along with it. So actually, several blot in the Talmud, according to the Meiri, which are there just because they have to play along. The Talmud the Muva'im b'deot sheravchu gam ben Yehudim b'maytem b'nab kol cham shemazal chazaka מאוד. קודם יש לו מזל. זאת אומרת, כוכב מסוים שהוא פטרונו, מבטן ומלידה. His patron for a person's mazal is his patron from birth. Shabbos and Gimel, Baba Kama, base on base. Very Adam, Nirim Ide Mazalo. Or Megillah, you can see things through your mazal which you can't see explicitly directly. The Gama Swim Yesh Mazal. This Chazal is very often misquoted. Normally, this when this is quoted, or often it's quoted as malach barakia shemakel tov. But that's the lashon Chazal. He's correct. It's mazal. So when he's taking it literally, it means that there's an astrological sign, astrological depth. When we say malach, we're interpreting mazal to mean a malach. In other words, a flow. That flow is a spiritual flow, which is the definition of a malach. The stars have influence on the growth of fruit and their ripening. Istrolataria. Never heard that word before. The last. Even use astrology, you can't do any worship. Okay, so he says here at the bottom that astrologia is a daughter of Istrolatoria, and it's an aim, la astronomia, right? Obviously, the astrolatoria, however you pronounce that, is the actual how to worship. Astronomy is science, scientific study of the stars, and astrology is somewhere in the middle. Okay, it brings out at the bottom of that middle paragraph. So we have these. This is different interpretations. If you have still a little more time, and right on top of this, it says, what is the different gishot? So the question is, when it says that don't be afraid, right? So it's mean as a nonsense. Don't be afraid because you can get around if you have enough bitachon and you have enough, you'll be able to get surmount their influence. So therefore, yeah, ben chachmei so me'abinayim motzim shlosh bishol b'yam samuna b'ashrat mazal chachmei shlosh mefarish lebasuk v'anal fi shitata. It's not explains pas according to shita. Out and v'arei mildosh shmayim shkein ein b'hem shum koach. They don't have any power. Only the stupid goyim, who are empty of any wisdom, believing their power and afraid of them. בית אין לעם ישראל לפחד מאותות השמיים, כי השפעתם היא רק על הגויים. אין מזל לישראל. ישראל מחוץ לכוח השפעות של מזלות. Right? We're beyond the power of מזלות. כי אם ישראל לא ילמדו ללכת דרכי הגויים, אזי אין להם לחשוש מהמזלות. But, לפי ההשפעה השקפה זו, גם עם ישראל נתון לכוח השפעתם של כוכבים. אך תשובה התפילה מבטלים את השפעתם בתורה הגזירה. So you have across the board all different approaches, which are all Jewish approaches. Those type of things drive some people crazy. How can you possibly have three contradictory approaches in Judaism on such a basic issue? I would say that's what makes Judaism fun. You know, there's so many different approaches, and they can be like, I mean, I could say, and you know, pick and choose whatever one works for you. Okay.
So what are we doing next week? We're going to continue on this page or
No,
go back?
we'll go back
to
to Shabbos.
Huh?
Go back to Shabbos.
Okay.
I mean, next page is after 109, 110 and 111. Let's go back. You know what? Let me go quickly.
All right. Probably just 110. It's a fairly dense page.
Yeah, okay, it's just 110. Fine. Okay. Sounds
Right.
good. All right. Have a good week and a good trip.
And send me the info on that book.
Yeah, we'll do. Okay.
Thanks. Bye.